The Gopher Coaches Show is presented by Window Concepts and Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union. Now, it's the Gopher Coaches Show with Dawn Plitzuweit and Ben Johnson.
Yeah, we're rising.
Welcome into the Gopher Coaches Show. I'm Ahmad Hicks alongside Justin Gaard and head women's basketball coach Dawn Plitzuweit. Coach, we're back for another episode. You guys got a massive win this past weekend with Wisconsin, so that's exactly where we'll start. 21-point victory for your ladies. What did you take away from that game?
Well, I was really proud of how our young ladies competed throughout the course of the entire game. I thought our ability to finish plays was at a very high level. And it needed to be on the offensive end, especially because we weren't making shots in the first half. You know, we were 3 of 17, I think, from the arc in the first half. And then in the second half, kind of reversed it in terms of how we attacked the rim a lot more and only took 7 arc shots in the second half. And we're a lot more intentional to attack the rim. But overall, I thought our effort, our intensity, and the way we competed to finish plays was really good.
Without Grace Krahalski, who's been on this show, I think you would have been 0 for 14 for threes in the first half. I think she had all 3 of your threes there. A compliment to her. She kept finding herself open and really kept you guys afloat there in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, that didn't really make me feel better when you said that. I didn't really know what to do with that information, but yes, thankfully she
Grace
made
had
shots
a great
for us.
first
That's
half,
great.
right?
That's great. Yes, she did, absolutely. And that's just the type of player that she is. Sometimes we use her, as you see, around the rim, posting up, getting to the rim and scoring, sometimes shooting it, sometimes defending shooters, sometimes defending drivers, sometimes defending post players. So very versatile player for us.
How much has she developed that post-up game? It seems like something that she maybe didn't do so much a year ago. Now she relies on it a lot.
Well, the good news is she did it in high school quite a bit. And then this year, I think she's really grown her game in her comfort of posting up at this level, but also attacking the rim off the bounce. And that's something that she's continuing to grow at because we need her to do that. If you're a shooter and people are flying at you, you have to have a counter to that.
The one thing I noticed about Grace Krahalski, I feel like when she's making shots, she's opening up the court for everyone else. Sophie Hart included 16 points in that game versus Wisconsin. Can you talk about her impact in the middle?
Well, Sophie Hart was an absolute, in a good way, a beast in that
Yeah.
game. She just made so many things happen for us on both ends of the court. You know, it's a tough matchup with Sarah Williams for Wisconsin, and I thought Sophie did a really good job of kind of establishing herself around the rim, getting offensive rebounds. She had 5 offensive rebounds in that game and got a couple rebounds out of her area. She attacked. She made good decisions. She passed it really well. They doubled her quite a bit, and so she passed out of the double teams. And so we got to see Sophie, I think, continue to grow her game, and I know she's one of our guests later, so that's kind of exciting too.
She told us after the game on the radio broadcast that a good cutting 4 is every 5's dream, and that's Mallory Heyer, who,
Right.
for Mallory Heyer standards, I thought kind of had a couple of off games, only 6 points through 2, was kind of in and out of the lineup there, but she played great on Sunday as well, and kind of back to what we expect from Mallory.
Well, she did. I think Mal had 15 points, 11 rebounds, but 11 rebounds is a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of rebounds. And then I think at the same time, you see her cutting and scoring at the rim, but I think what she does such a good job of is continuing to grow her game. Now, we've seen her take a few charges this year. I think she was trying her best to be really physical down low defensively and not give ground. You know, again, staying with plays, making things happen. So I think her game is continuing to grow too, and that's been really fun to be a part of and watch her do that.
Go ahead. No, you go.
I was going to talk a little bit more about Mallory because the cutting to me is what
Right.
I think separates her. Every young player, and I know you had a lot of them at the game on Sunday as well as part of your kids group, she never really stops moving, whether it's sprinting up the floor or try to get in front of everybody or my teammate's in trouble, I've got to go find some help. It seems like she never really stops moving.
She doesn't, and that's really a tribute to her and her work ethic and all the things that she does. But it was really fun in transition to have Amaya find her. You know, we had kind of started to separate a little bit, and that felt like that was a play that kind of, the crowd erupted, and we had a great crowd. We had an incredible crowd on Sunday. We had 62 women's basketball alumni back, so it was a very special day for us in a border battle.
You know, I feel like your team keeps evolving. We've said that word several times here, and Annika Stewart is one name that keeps being brought up, whether it's on the broadcast and the post-game notes or just in general when you're watching the game. What has she done for this team this season?
Well, we talk about her ability to stretch the floor for us, and you can see that she's shooting the ball really well from the arc and making a lot of things happen. You know, we don't talk as much about her leadership because it's kind of hard to put it into words what she does for us, but I thought she's been an incredible voice for us, an incredible leader. She's been in a program before where she understands what it takes, and she's trying to bring that to our program as well. I thought Sunday's game when Sophie I remember specifically Sophie making back-to-back free throws, and then she did it again, and the voice that I heard both times was Annika Stewart.
Right.
You know, and so when you talk about a glue player, a player that makes everyone else more comfortable, that's Annika Stewart. And whether that is on the floor making plays happen, or whether that's encouraging your teammates in huddles, timeouts, from the bench, on the baseline in practice, whatever it is, and she's done a tremendous job of that for us.
How much do you talk to the post players? Because they're very different. Sophie and obviously Ani, and then Nehemiah too. We're going to talk about her in a second, but there's going to be games where it's a better matchup for one of the two of them. Do you go into games kind of communicating that with them, or is it always we just need to be ready to do whatever job's out there?
It's you need to be ready.
Yeah.
And at times, even in the Northwestern game, we tried playing them together a little bit. We're trying to get something to give us a boost. And so I think in the Wisconsin game, Ani unfortunately got in foul trouble. Soph had to play more minutes, and she did a great job of doing that for us. So some of it is certainly matchup. Some of it is what happens during the course of the game, who's playing well, those type of things.
Since we're talking post players, we're going to bounce around in this show. We're going to fast forward to Nehemiah Holloway because you brought up her name and just her impact. So I want to play this video from the Northwestern game, those final crucial minutes down the stretch, and then I'm going to get your input on what she's been doing for your team so far. So let's take a listen to this.
To Nehemiah Holloway. She has a left baseline, drives middle. Shot. Good! Nehemiah Holloway off the glass. Through traffic, 4 straight for Nia. Now they get it back to Lau, top of the key. Daly has it. It's blocked by Holloway out of bounds. 18-foot shot.
All right, so you just saw that. A big bucket by her, then a big block. Great narration by you.
Oh,
there,
yeah, appreciate it.
I had to throw that in.
She made that easy.
You. What does she mean to your team right now? I know she's not playing a ton of minutes, but she has been increasing those minutes as of late for you guys.
Well, she has. She's an energizer bunny in a lot of ways. We talked just about how Ani is on the bench communicating and making things happen. Well, that's Nia at all times. She is such an energy giver, and the way that she plays can generate energy for you as well. And she certainly did that for us in the Northwestern game, and we needed it.
It seems like that goes a long way with her teammates. And we talked to a couple after. Like Grace Gerholski knows she's probably going to play 40 minutes, right? Amaya Battle probably knows. Nehemiah doesn't know game to game what her role is going to be, but we just talked about staying ready. I think that goes a long way with the rest of the group, that you guys needed her in that fourth quarter, and she was ready to go.
Well, and that's a part of that is not just what you do in practice and how you communicate on the bench, but it's what you're doing outside of practice. And I think Nia is someone who, during the course of probably the last 2 months, has really devoted herself to investing extra time on a daily basis when we're allowed to by compliance rules, right? But when we're allowed to work with her as coaches, and she's done that, she's done that very consistently. It's not something you just do one day and you see the benefits of. You have to grow and be consistent in those things, and she's doing that.
She certainly went through the trials and tribulation as a freshman. It's great to see it paying off now. Speaking of freshmen, Tori McKinney, another star player on your team, I think, who's going to have a great career. But she sat down to speak with us about what it meant to commit to the University of Minnesota and why this decision to stay home meant more than just playing basketball. Take a listen.
Playing at the University of Minnesota is what some call a privilege, while others consider it a dream.
It's crazy. I mean, I love it.
Growing up just 20 minutes from Williams Arena, freshman Tori McKinney always knew the Gophers were her perfect match.
Minnesota was like, yeah, we want you. And I was like, okay, I want you guys too.
Midway through her freshman season, McKinney is averaging double digits and bringing a lot of fans to their feet. One in particular, her mom.
I'm a little crazy. I'm intense. Oh!
Jennifer McKinney.
Come on, Tori. Let's go. I don't even know how to describe it. I get it so involved in the game, and I'm not playing it.
Honestly, she's just like comical.
How come they already get to go to the line?
Because she doesn't know a lot about basketball.
It's a lane violation.
Lane violation!
Lane violation.
For the McKinneys, basketball has always brought them closer, and in this case, it would keep them connected.
When I got my offer from here, she was like in tears.
Then she came in and I go, you didn't. And she's like, I did, Mom, I did. And I was like, you didn't. She goes, I'm calling them back right now to prove it to you.
Jennifer quickly realized this was no joke.
Well, she just called them back. She's like, did I commit? And they were like, yes.
Just dreams becoming a reality.
I always knew if Tori set her mind to do something, this girl's got determination. And I knew she would make it.
She would probably just like laugh. Like, there's no way that I would have thought that this is where I'd be today.
Tori McKinney's open, wanted the three for a while. He because she wants to knock it down just like that.
Now on the hardwood she always dreamt of playing on, Tori and Jennifer know this is just the beginning. And there's a long journey ahead.
As a mother, I'm like, oh, that she didn't do that. She didn't trip her. She didn't hit her.
Enough time for mom to learn the game.
She's like the biggest support system you can have. I mean, she shows up even though she doesn't really know what's going on, and she just like continues to support me in my dreams.
Good job, Josh. I'm here right now, and I'm pinching myself. It is reality. I guess if I'm living in a dream, it's a good dream, and I don't want to wake up.
All right, so you just saw the package on Tori McKinney and her mother. What does that mean to you when you see that special bond between a mother and a daughter about staying home and playing for you?
It makes me want to cry, but it also makes me want to laugh because I feel the same way. I don't think she tripped the kid. I don't think she followed the kid, whatever the case is. I'm in agreement. Now, maybe I understand the game a little bit better, but the reality is I'm on her mom's side. I'm on Jennifer's side, too. So we're thrilled that Tori is here. I think her future is so bright, and we're so excited for them.
Well, to play as a freshman in this league is difficult, right? There's a reason why coaches try to avoid it when possible. Right. But Tori, and obviously she stepped into the starting spot when Mara Braun went down, but she's really just slid right in and played spectacular.
She has. It means so much to her, and she plays so hard. And so just trying to get her to slow down and probably relax a little bit more.
Understandable. Well, she has a bright future ahead. Now, coming up, we have to burn one of our TV timeouts, but we have Sophie Hart joining the set to discuss her final season of college basketball and what this team means to her. Stick around. We'll be right back for more Gopher Coaches Show on the other side of this break.
You're watching the Gopher Coaches Show.
Yeah, we're rising up.
Welcome back to the Gopher Coaches Show. I'm Ahmad Hicks, Justin Gaard, Dawn Plitzuweit, and her lovely center, Sophie Hart. Sophie, thank you for joining the set with us. First, let's start about you. What has this season meant for you? Why are you glad that you came back to the U for your final season?
I mean, it's just so great being home. I mean, I've played with these girls since I was super young, and just having our fans, you know, having hometown people coming to support, my parents at every game, it's just been awesome.
You guys went through some ups and downs last season in your first year under Coach Plitzuweit, but you've turned it around, 18 wins so far this season. Did you expect this coming out to have 18 wins?
I don't know if we ever put like a numeric value on it, but I knew over the summer I was talking to my parents that I was just super excited because, you know, we looked good, we were clicking. Some of our new additions just were awesome too. So obviously the people that we've retained, I mean, have grown so much, tremendous in their roles too. So we've been just really excited since we've gotten together over the summer.
I'm sure the message got to you somehow, but your head coach sitting to your left told us on the radio after the game, she thought Sunday against Wisconsin might have been your best game as a Gopher. Tied a career high in assists, 16 points, offensive rebounds off the charts. Do you agree with that? I mean, I don't know if you don't want to rank your games, but you just had it going on Sunday.
I mean, I don't know if I like truly have a rank in my head, but I mean, I always take the compliment from Coach Pete. So that felt good. But yeah, I mean, it was just clicking for me. The guards were in the right spots for me to dish it out to get those assists. So yeah. It's
hard when double teams are coming. Sometimes you get a rebound, there's 3 or 4 different players there, and sometimes things can get really fast there. It seemed like everything was moving very slowly for you. You made so many good reads. So how were you seeing things out of those doubles?
Yeah, some of the other, you know, teams we played in the past have started to throw a double team at me, so kind of getting myself to slow down mentally, and then knowing, I mean, Mal's a great back cut. We have great guards that can shoot the ball on the three-point line, so just making sure that I find the right person who's open and make the right read.
What do you say the biggest thing is that Coach Plitzuweit taught you this season in order to kind of untap your potential and help you take that next step?
I would just say she's always pushing me every single day. I don't know if it's just really one thing that sticks out, but there's just been a couple of things that, you know, I use on the daily. Like one thing that she said is like repeating compliments. And so like for me, that's helped a lot, you know, especially on the rough days or shots aren't falling, and just, you know, making sure that you hear that they have confidence in you too. And yeah.
Coach, what's it like having a player that's able to withstand that tough coaching and that criticism and be able to apply it in a positive way and bounce back?
Well, I think Sophie's someone who has a great desire to be the best that she can be and to continue playing, beyond her days here at Minnesota as well, but someone who wants to continue to get better. And we show film. I remember the day that she put the ball on the floor from the free throw line and it got to the rim, but didn't make it at the rim. But we talk about, from day one in working with Sophie where she was like, oh, I don't do that. I'm a post player. I don't work on ball handling. So now she's going through the lines and she's crossing people over. She's like, do you guys see that crossover? Do you see my handle? Look at how much better I'm getting. And so it's been fun to watch her. As you learn a new skill, you develop a new skill, you grow in your confidence in that skill as well. But it's a credit to her because she has a hunger to be as good as she can be.
A skill that we've seen a lot of is the Tom Hart special, is what you call it. You mentioned your family comes to every game. I'm sure we've seen it in the highlights. Explain what the Tom Hart special is and where that developed.
Yeah, that is my hook shot. That was the first post move I was ever really taught. Both hands, which was a struggle as an 8th grader who was still a little uncoordinated. It was a bit rough, so shout out to him because he was rebounding those shots too. But yeah, I mean, he just spent a lot of time with me in the gym in high school, just drilling post moves and kind of developing that touch around the rim.
I want to ask you, you talked about having Mallory Hire being a great backcut player and things like that. How has Annika Stewart helped expand your game offensively and defensively? What has she done to help you personally?
I mean, she's just so great on the outside that when we were playing pickup, it was frustrating because, you're kind of used to, as the post players, that you don't have to kind of close out. And so I'd run down the court and she'd just trail in and pop one. And, I mean, she can shoot under like a contested closeout. So kind of having to guard that in practice has made me a better defender, I think.
Coach, these guests so far this season have kind of a consistent theme of doing the hard things. Amaya talked about how hard some of the things are that she's had to do. Sophie now talking about some of the hard things that she's had to do. But it is embracing the hard stuff, right, that eventually gets you where you need to go.
Yeah, if it was easy, everyone would have a chance to do it and be good at doing it. It's not easy. And we talked about, even with Amaya, there is no growth in the comfort zone. So if you keep doing the same things and you're not really working to grow, you're really comfortable. But if you're trying to grow, then there's no comfort in that growth zone. And so it isn't easy to do the things that our young ladies are doing. It isn't.
Now, speaking of things that aren't easy, I want to talk to you about your point of view and being a teammate next to a Taylor Woodson or a Mara Braun. What are you doing personally, or what do you guys talk about as a group to keep them tied in as one and keep them engaged with, everything, dead ball, timeouts, pregame huddles, all that stuff?
I mean, I'm going to give them the biggest shout out because I think they keep themselves engaged. I mean, I come out of the game and Taylor's trying to coach me up, Mara's trying to coach me up. Taylor spent quite a bit of time with me on my free throws. So, I mean, they're still here, still very present. So we just kind of keep trying to communicate with them, involve them in our conversations, especially about stuff on the court. And keep trying to push them along because we need them back.
Now, what do you say to them, though, to help them get through this mentally? Because you missed some time last season with an injury. Like, is there something that you can say, or do you think they just have to go through this process?
I mean, just try to encourage them, I guess. There's not a ton you can really say in that moment. I mean, knowing being there myself, it's just tough. And so trying to kind of be that extra support that, everybody talks about the injury, but maybe, you bring up something else. Or like I told Tay when she went down, hey, like if you want ice cream or something like that, I'll be your Uber Eats driver and bring it to you, whatever you need, let me know.
Great teammate.
Coach, Soph mentioned the free throw shooting here, especially the last few games. I think she was perfect from the line against Wisconsin. Post players get fouled a lot, we know, right? And they're going to end up at the line. What type? It probably leads into the extra work that's gone in, but her free throw shooting has really taken a jump here in the last month.
It has. She's really working on getting the ball in her hand and releasing it rather than lifting it or pushing it. But she's really working on it close to the basket and moving it back out, and has dedicated herself to investing that extra time. And so it's been fun to watch. It's been fun to watch Soph continue to grow and continue to develop. And we got some really good news today. We actually applied for a waiver for Soph to regain a season of eligibility.
Wow.
And we were granted the good news today that Sophie will gain a 5th year of eligibility. So we're really excited for you, Sophie. Congratulations. I'm sorry that we're surprising her.
Is that breaking news to you?
It is.
Oh, yeah. Did you just find out? How do you feel about this?
I mean, obviously, I'm excited to be a Gopher for another year. I mean, I've just really have enjoyed my time here, being back in Minnesota, being close to my family. But then this team feels like, a second family. That's probably cliche, but it really does. And so I enjoy being here. So I mean, if I can have the opportunity to spend more time here, I'll obviously take it.
Looks like some tears
Yeah,
and
I
some
know.
water.
Man, I was going to ask about the potential extra year. I didn't know where it stood.
And I've been
glad you
saying in
brought
the
that
show
in.
her final season, so
Well,
you're
I
correcting me now.
thought we'd break the news to all the fans today.
I love it. You better go call your parents. We should go to break.
I know, yeah.
Big news.
You better go
Well,
call your
we'll let
family.
you leave the set so you can go tell everyone that you get to stick around for another year. That's Sophie Hart. Thank you so much for joining.
Yes.
Congratulations on another
you.
year as a Gopher. And we'll be right back on the other side of the break to preview the conference schedule and the tough slate the Gophers will face coming up in the next week. We'll see you guys then.
Welcome back to the Gopher Coaches Show.
All right, welcome back to the Gopher Coaches Show. Ahmad, Hicks alongside Justin Gaard, Dawn Plitzuweit. Coach, big slate coming up of tough games. Number 1 ranked UCLA, number 4 ranked USC. What does this opportunity mean for your young team?
Well, it's great for us because in order to continue to grow, you've got to learn how to compete against the best that there is out there. And these two teams are those teams. They're the best of the best. And so we have a great challenge at hand, and I really believe that our young ladies are going to be excited to see how we can find ways to compete.
Yeah, number 1 and number 4 in California. It's a daunting road trip, but this is why you come to the Big Ten, right? To play again. You want to be one of the best teams, but you also want to see what that looks like, and this is one of those opportunities.
It absolutely is one of those opportunities. And so when you look at size, athleticism, speed, ability to score, different defensive looks that they give you, you get a chance to see all of it.
Coach, I want to ask you real quick, what are the benefits of traveling to the West Coast? Does that help you out recruiting-wise, touch a couple of players that maybe you don't get to normally see on every given year?
Can I get back to you on that?
Okay, yes, you can get back to me on that. What's it going to be like, though, traveling to the West Coast, getting your ladies out of Minnesota for, 4 to 5 days, and just being out there to focus on basketball?
Well, it's a challenge right now because not only are you playing great teams, but you're doing it while you're in classes and your opponents have been on break for a week or so. So we had a lot of challenges ahead of us, and I think our young ladies are really committed academically, and so we've got to do a great job of finding a way to do both while we're there.
Well, we appreciate your time this week, Coach. Best of luck to you in Los Angeles. Hopefully you come back with 2 victories, and we'll talk all about that and the recruiting efforts that help you out in that. So that's the Gopher Coaches Show with head coach Dawn Plitzuweit. We'll see you all next week.